Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to take a look here at Lyft stock and Uber stock. Now today I'm going to be talking about Lyft first, but guys, I want to talk about the whole industry in general, share my price target for both of these companies, and explain why I actually think that this earnings, even though they are pushing up in after hours, we know that it was a good earnings, I want to explain why they aren't really as green as they seem, and why everything that glitters really isn't gold here with this Lyft and Uber play. Now guys, if you've seen my videos on Uber and Lyft in the past, you may know that I've been critical on these companies, but I feel like a little bit of criticalness is important when considering a company as risky as Lyft or Uber. So guys, I'm gonna get straight into it here with Lyft. I'm gonna talk about what my price targets are, short and long term, but especially what happened with their earnings here and what you should be watching coming into the next few months if you are an investor on either of these two names. So starting here on Lyft, guys, like I said, we had a breakout at around $50, and that was going to be ultimately the best time to buy this stock if you were bullish on the long term. Now you can see we dipped down to even 44 before rocketing up as a result of this earnings. But honestly guys, I wouldn't be surprised if nobody caught that move, as even myself, I did not catch this move. And there are times when the stock market reverses before our key levels that we just cannot predict. And this was one of those times. So with Lyft stock, if you missed out on it, don't feel bad on yourself. There's going to be a lot more opportunity in the future. And with this name, this is going to be one where patience is going to be rewarded in the long run. As you may know, Lyft and Uber are unprofitable companies, and they have been for quarter over quarter for the last few years. But as a result of this earnings, we now know that Lyft is possible, at least pulling themselves out of the hole a little. So when we saw the last report on earnings with Lyft and Uber, it was actually very, very bearish, and they were losing a ton of money and way more than people expected. But as of this earnings, we now know that customer spending is up, and I'm gonna flash the statistics here of the earnings and what happened on the screen. So make sure you pause the video if you wanna see that. But guys, like I was explaining here, they did have a loss per share still, even though the company is continuously growing, and they did also have very good revenue, even higher than what was expected, but still made a loss. So that's not going to be very positive for either of the two companies. But one positive thing that they can look forward to is the amount spent per rider, which was increased here over the last quarter. And that's going to be very positive in continuously pushing up how much they're making off each customer. So there are some bad things and there are some good things to look at with Lyft and Uber. But guys, right now, I want to talk about why I think that Lyft really isn't the play that you should be making if you're considering these ride shares. Now, if you are in from before this jump, then that is absolutely smashing. Hold your position and wait until at least $67 to consider taking profits, guys. That is going to be my longer term target within a month or a month and a half of time on Lyft stock. I think that they're going to go to around 67, but ultimately I would not be opening a new position to play this stock, as I don't have a lot of longer term perspective than after $67. Like I say, I'm still very critical on these companies, but I can recognize that they did have a good earnings and that this will be very bullish for the at least immediate future of these companies. So with Lyft, I'm looking for around $67 a share to hold as the top price here over the next few weeks, but especially coming into the next month. And right now on the post or in the mid price, you can see that it's around $59 here after hours, almost up 10%. But I think that we are going to see a pullback at the open as a result of this $62 support. So what I think is going to happen exactly tomorrow is we're going to open near $60, move all the way up to 62 from the new investors that are potentially looking at Lyft, but then break down all the way back to 60 before we at least make another move before considering this $66 high or even any levels above that. So guys, if you are in with this Lyft play, don't think that if you buy tomorrow at the open, it's going to absolutely rip, because that is not the scenario that I really think is plausible with Lyft and Uber IPOs here and with their stocks. And I think that it would be much more profitable to potentially wait for a good entry with this company, wait till the hype is over so you can take advantage of a play that might be at a better price, because we now know that their earnings are improving quarter over quarter, or at least that's what's been happening in the last two. So if you are considering Lyft or Uber, I would definitely recommend you very strongly to wait for them to pull back in price and potentially show us something a little more attractive when we're considering to buy in on these companies. But now switching over to Uber, guys, you can see that I've been watching this one very, very strongly over the last few days. And this is actually the stock of the two that I chose to play with my own personal account. Now, I've been holding Uber shares at around $50 for a very long time, So ever since around December, halfway through December, I bought these shares at $50 flat. And you can see basically it's been a roller coaster, up and down, but very consistently holding within this purple box. And I've shown you guys this purple box multiple times here on the channel, and it holds as a very important point where either buyers step in heavily or sellers. Now, right now you can see that on Uber, $50 was a moment when buyers were stepping in. So that's why I was watching the purple box for an opportunity to buy. And ultimately we got a very good opportunity in December, and even coming into February here at the beginning of February when we did see another test of the $50 box. Ultimately, it held strong. And as you can see, the earnings are now producing a very good run up for any investors on Uber. But right now they are even up in the after hours, even though Uber has not reported its earnings. So essentially what's happening here is that people are seeing what's happening with Lyft, and they're getting in early on Uber, or potentially they're trying to buy in the after hours to take advantage when Uber does report their earnings report, which could potentially be tomorrow. Now, guys, one of the main things that you need to be careful with if you are trying to copy that type of play style is that a lot of the move might already be factored in. So with Uber, if everybody gets in before the earnings and then the earnings report good, then the move is already going to be factored in. Everybody who's going to buy has already bought before, and then that's going to be very bad for the long-term growth of the company. So that's something that you need to watch out for. And one of the main reasons why I think that these stocks will gap up tomorrow, but not really rocket right out of the gate. So that's my own personal opinion, and why I won't be adding shares at these higher levels on Uber or Lyft, but I will be holding the position that I already have with this Uber company. And I hope that they can continue growing over the next few years, as these are companies that I see with a lot of potential, but just right now they aren't an absolutely smashing investment. And I'm only trading them based on the chart patterns, like with Uber when I saw the clear support around $50, and not necessarily because I'm super bullish on the future of the companies. So be very careful with this one and what position you're holding in the short or long run, as they could be tested here very strongly over the next few days. And especially coming into the next earnings report, they're going to be very much held to a higher standard. And both of these companies are going to be expected to continue producing better and better earnings if the price is going to continue to push up. So guys, as always, that was Lyft and Uber. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe down below. And I hope all your plays are in the green.